Yeah, so we're here with Will Bosi, Mr. Raven Tor. He's ticked off most of the hardest routes at the tour in the last week or so. How are you doing, Will?
I'm very good, thanks. Yeah, it's been a busy couple of weeks.
Yeah, well, you've had a pretty busy year in all. It seems like you made the first ascent of a 9B plus King Capella in Spain, and you made a rare repeat of Northern Lights at Kilnsea, and then you've had an amazing trip to Switzerland bouldering. What do you think the difference has been this year in terms of progressing through the grades on rock?
Um, I think a big thing is just like having consistency on rock. I find it like I need almost like a warm up into rock climbing. Like I need to have a good couple sessions before I feel like fully like ready to go in it. Whereas with comp climbing, I don't know, maybe I'm more used to it, but it's a lot easier. Like I find indoors just go and pull on a route and just try as hard as possible. Whereas outdoors, I find I need to get into like maybe a slightly different mindset, which takes a little bit of adjustment. Whereas this year, having just spent a lot more time outside, I think I like found that a lot better and was able to use that more.
Tell us about your recent trip to Switzerland, because it seems like that probably fed in quite well to your recent Raven Tor ticks. What did you get up to? I heard you were out there with Dave Graham and Sean Rabbitoux. So how was that, and what did you get done?
Yeah, it was really, really good fun. It was just like a nice sort of chill trip, like more it's like the first week or so is when I climbed pretty much everything I did. It was, I think, 3 weeks in total I was there, and but this kind of the second two, the weather wasn't so good, so we spent most of the time just trying like this sort of crazy cave projects and stuff that were like would stay dry, that were all like very futuristic. That I don't know, like I didn't think I would get up them. Maybe Sean or Dave, but like more like in the realms of like 9A plus boulder. So that was super cool. But yeah, in the sort of first week, I did my first 8C boulder in a day, which I was really happy with. Foundation's Edge, Dave Graham block from 2005, I think. Quite a while ago. I also had a day where I did two 8B plus boulders in the same session, and then flashed an 8A plus after that. So I was like, and I'm really happy. Like it was really satisfying being able to go and do either a lot in a day or something. Like I've always wanted to try and do an 8C in a day. So like it's like ticking off a lot of goals. So it's super cool. And yeah, the climbing there is just incredible. I was kind of like, completely blown away by the places and everything.
Did you go on that trip specifically thinking that it would prepare you quite well for the tour, or was it just you just happened to go and you were feeling strong?
Just just it wasn't like as preparation for anything. More just I wanted to go and actually test myself on hard boulders, because I've not really done much bouldering, to be honest, and not really any trips boulder wise before. So I just wanted to go and see what was out there and what the harder grades look like, and try some problems that I've seen, photos and videos of for years. So.
Yeah, not too bad climbing with Dave Graham and Sean Rabbitoux. That must spur you on quite a bit. So when you came back, did you have the intention to go straight to the tour? Did you know that it was coming into condition, or?
Yeah, I mean, October is always kind of the best month for the tour, I think. So yeah, when I came back, I came up to Edinburgh pretty much straight after, and actually chilled up here for like a week or so. And yeah, saw my family and friends and stuff. And then, I went down and was very much like, right, the weather's good. There's like, I'm here, I've not got any comps coming up. I was like, no excuses. I need to get down and just put the sessions in on Mutation and try and get it done.
You said like you've been working it for, is it 2 years now? It's like your longest project ever.
4 years, yeah.
4 years, oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's like conditions dependent, and that's played a big role in it, like not being in the country a lot of the time because you've been doing competitions, preparing for Tokyo selection and stuff like that. So do you think the conditions as well as the mindset, that all played a big role? And maybe it wasn't so much your fitness or your finger strength or whatever.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's kind of the more important thing with this route specifically. I think it's just like actually like, so for Raven Tor as well, it's kind of very hard to climb there unless you're climbing there a lot, if you know what I mean. Like it's a hard crag to turn up to, no matter how fit or strong you're feeling, and then just climb hard if you don't like have like, you know, a couple intro sessions or like get used to it again, because it is very savage, the climbing there. So I think having a good couple consistent sessions, and then the fact that conditions were just perfect, my skin was like really good on the day I sent it. I think it all just came together. I don't think it was that I've got stronger really. I might have got stronger, but I don't think that was what actually got me to the top in the end. I think this is a thing, over the 4 years I've had around 40 sessions on it, and I think probably out of all those sessions, probably only 4 of them had good conditions. And like, so, you know, with this style of route, it means that although I was obviously making progress, working out sequences, getting stuff more refined, on like, you know, 35, 36 of the other sessions, I probably didn't have that much of a chance of actually sending the route, which is kind of crazy to think, but yeah.
Yeah, it's just a limiting factor. I guess you just need that extra 1% to get over the line.
Yeah.
You were saying, when I sent in the news report, you were saying how like the iconic crossover move, that wasn't really the crux for you. There was like a red point crux higher up. Can you explain how heinous it is?
Yeah, so you do evolution, which is Jerry Moffat's 8C plus, and then instead of going out left to the jugs, you just continue straight. And so basically you do like 2 moves and you get into this crux rollover move, or that's what Steve found as a crux rollover move when he first ascended it, where you do this crazy like cross all the way over your body. It's sort of like by far the best move on the route, and one of the best moves I've probably done at the tour. It's amazing, super cool. But yes, above that, there's what I reckon would be like an 8A boulder problem, about 4 moves long, depending on sequence, on like the smallest possible crimps you can imagine, like so tiny. And this is basically where I struggled the most. Like, this is the red point crux for me, was this entire section. Like every move I fell off multiple times in that section. Whereas Steve, when he stuck the rollover move, he climbed straight to the top. Whereas for me, I had sessions where I stuck the rollover move like 5 times in a day, and, you know, just still had no chance of going to the top. So yeah, I did the roll, I think, in fairly early on in the red pointing. Like, wouldn't have been that many sessions in, but then the top boulder by itself took me like 3 sessions to actually work out a sequence I could get through it. And then, yeah, just actually doing it from the ground was crazy. It felt like, and then, you know, the last 2 years I've got like high points each year, but like a move, and I keep like, so you like a move closer, and you're like, oh, now 2 moves from the end of the route, but it's kind of the hardest 2 moves on the route. So it's, yeah, it was a yeah.
What was it like? Like, obviously Steve's history with the route, you know, you can read his diary entries in the run up to him doing it. What was it like when you finally texted him, or I assume told him that you'd done it? He must have been pretty psyched. He was pretty psyched for you, apparently.
Yeah. I the night after I did it, like when I got home, I messaged him, and yeah, he was, oh, took you a while. I was like, yeah, I had to work into this one, but no, I think he was psyched, and yeah, it was super cool that I got to climb actually on the route with him as well a few times. Like last year, he got on it a bit, like back on it, and it's crazy how, like, you know, even 20 years after he first sent it, he's still making the moves look not that bad. So yeah, it was fun to sort of share it with him.
I can imagine. Obviously, everyone's speculating about the grade. Like, how can it be 9A plus? Are you sure it's not 9B?
Well, this is a thing. I'm not sure, but like, this is what I was saying. I think I probably, when you try something so much and you get so absorbed in it, you kind of lose track of how relative stuff gets. And I think like 20, like after session 20, I probably couldn't really comment on the grade accurately, other than hard, you know. And it could well be 9B, but at the same time, the fact that what it felt like always stopped me sending it was having perfect conditions and skin, and a consistent run up at the tour of like sessions. Like, as is the first year I actually had that, and it then did all come together. It's a weird one where you think, I think the routes, although it's hard, it's more that it's super hard to climb. Like, you need everything to line up, and then even if you make this like one mistake, you're going to fall off anyway. So it's just a route that's very hard to actually do, which I think is what has made it unrepeated for so long, and like stopped me climbing it for a very long time. Whereas I think actually like the physicality of the moves aren't that bad. So
yeah, I guess
yeah,
knacky is the word or something like that.
yeah.
Who's your top tip for the third ascent? Who do you think might get it next?
I think Pete Dawson's probably next in line. He's put in quite a fair bit of work now. I think he must be on for a couple of years and a lot of sessions now. Yeah, Ryan, he put in a lot of time too, and it'd be cool if he got it. But I think last time I spoke to him, he was definitely taking a break from it. So yeah, I mean, Pete's good in the sense that like he definitely knows to put the time in. So I think he should get there hopefully quite soon.
Place your bets. So then after, like literally a week after Mutation, you got straight on Brandenburg Gate. How long had you been trying that, and how does it differ to Mutation? You did that, or you seem to do it super quick compared to Mutation.
The thing is super quick. It does get relative. So like Mutation, I only tried, what was it, third or fourth session this year, I guess, was I sent it. Whereas Brandenburg, I've only tried it this year. Well, I abbed down it a couple of years ago just to feel the holds, I guess, which would count as the first session, but I didn't actually try the moves. And then this year, I've only really tried it this year and had maybe 7 sessions. So almost double what I put into Mutation this year. But like a lot of those sessions were like me just going by myself and then hanging around for like an hour or two, just trying to figure out any way of climbing it. And I think it's kind of not been climbed and remained a project for so long just because it's a very complex route. And so figuring out the beta, especially for, Steve, when no one else would have been psyched to try it or look at it, I think it was quite hard. And it was only because I was just, I don't know, really psyched to just be messing around on the rope that I kind of found it out. But once I worked out all the beta and all the like little knacky bits of it, actually wasn't so hard to put together. So it went down. So I worked everything out, and then I think it was the next session I did it in 2 halves, and then the next session I sent it.
Is it actually like, it looks quite as you say, knacky, technical, maybe slightly awkward moves? Like, how would you rate it in terms of star quality compared to other routes at the tour, like Hubble,
I think
Mutation?
So some of the holds aren't the most pleasant, to be fair. Like the Crux hold is a pinky mono, which you get like a tiny edge next to it. So it's, not maybe the nicest hold, but the moves are actually amazing. Like it's just because it feels very 3D and quite different. It's because it's in the same bit of wall of like Make It Funky and Hubble, whereas Hubble's like very basic and front on. Make It Funky, judging from the name as well, actually is a bit more like exciting. And this is like, I think even more so than that. Like the beta, at least that I used, where you get like a heel to hand, stuff like that, the toe hook at the start. I think it's really good. Just you have to hold some pretty nasty things.
Yeah. Everyone that climbs that Raven Tor knows it's really polished, but on these routes, like Mutation and Brandenburg, are they polished? Like, do they have the same level of? I know they don't have quite the same level of traffic, maybe, but is the rock similar? Is it as kind of?
Well, I mean, Mutation's definitely got the same traffic after me trying it several hundred times, but Mutation's horrendously polished. The start, especially of Evo in the roof, the holds are like, they've turned black with polish and stuff. So that's another thing that does add in, I suppose, to making it. I don't know if it really changes the grade, but makes it a lot easier to fall off because your foot can slip quite easily. Whereas Brandenburg actually isn't really polished, but it's a weird one. Just the rock type is, I don't know, like, even though you look at the foot and you're like, oh, no one's probably stood on this bit before. You stand it once or twice, you're like, actually, it's already slippy. It's not high friction rock, I guess. So yeah, I don't think it would change the grade or anything, but I think it would get polished quite fast.
Which route gave you the most satisfaction, like doing the first ascent of Brandenburg or finally getting Mutation?
I mean, doing the first ascent is super cool, and I'm like very happy to have got a first ascent at the tour, but Mutation by a mile is like just I think because of the amount I've invested into it, I think it'd be crazy for that not to be the one that feels more rewarding.
Who do you think will get the next ascent of Brandenburg? Has anyone been trying that?
I don't actually think anyone's really been on it. That's the thing. Hopefully now that I've done it and like cleaned it up and got the video out and stuff, people will be psyched and get on it. But I know Magos was saying he was psyched to come try it as well. So I don't think it'll be too long before it gets repeated. Whereas, yeah, Mutation's a hard one where Pete could do it soon, but hopefully he does. But again, it could be one that ends up taking a while to get repeated, which is kind of funny.
Do you think Andro would have interest in doing it? Obviously, did he ever play on the moves when he came over on Mutation? I know
he went up Mutation once, but the day he was there was like really bad weather. So he went up Mutation, and because you need conditions, I think, as well, he just sacked it off and tried Hubble for the day, I think. Because of it being shorter, I guess he thought he had more chance of doing that or was more psyched for it. So, yeah, I don't know if he's psyched to come back, but it would be cool.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. You also did last week Paladin Dawn. That's Buster Martin's route. What was that like? I think it's had a couple of repeats now.
Yeah, I think I'm the third because Pete repeated it, I think. Yeah. And Alex Norton's super close to doing it. He was really close the last time I was there. So he might have actually got it in the last couple of days. I don't know. But it's really good. So it's a direct finish to make it funky. So you have the cool bottom moves, and then you go into, again for the tour, pretty cool moves, super high heel. You're gets quite technical sitting on it, but then really powerful sort of jumpy stab moves out of it. So yeah, it's really good. I thought it was quite a hard finish in comparison to the original way. So I think the 8C plus grade as well seems right for it. Cool.
Have you actually got anything much left at the tour to take off?
Yeah, I've got quite a lot. So because when I've gone, I've always been I should just try Mutation if I'm here. So most of the time I've just been on that. I've got some I want to do on the right-hand side, Hooligan, which is an old 8C, which has only had 3 ascents or something. It's desperately hard. And then I've not actually been on Mecha yet, because I was always I'll try it another time. And now I'm maybe I suppose I should give it a flash go. So then I was I should wait till I'm stronger so I can give it a good flash go. But yeah, now I also don't want to blow that. So
that's very polished. I can tell you, it's very polished.
Yeah, I think it's very easy to fall off. Yeah.
Are there more boulder projects there that you've got to do? Have you done much bouldering?
No, I've done the original Ben's roof. I did Weed Killer yesterday, actually, for the first time. I'd done that before, but the first hold was wet, so I'd never done it from the actual start. And then I've done a couple of the ones on the right, but I've not actually done the rest of the cave problems like Fat Lip or Keen Roof. I've never really put any time into them, but I tried Keen Roof one time, I think. But yeah, I suppose I should try those at some point.
What are you going to put your time into next? Have you got any projects at the tour or elsewhere? Do you want a change of scene? I can imagine.
I mean, a change of scene would be nice. It's difficult to get for sure in the UK weather-wise. So I really want to go back and try Overshadow, Steve's 9A plus at Malham, because I had a day on that a couple of years ago and it was absolutely amazing. The climbing was great, but I've just never ended up managing to get back. But yeah, it's definitely wet at the moment, so need that to dry.
Excellent. Have you got any plans to get away over the winter? I mean, I know COVID's always a bit uncertain at the moment.
I'm hoping to get back to Santa Linya in Spain in December. That's what I'm trying to plan at the moment. But yeah, fingers crossed for that anyway.
And what are your plans competition-wise for next year? Are you going to do any? Are you going to focus on rock?
I mean, need to we've still not got really much info about the selection for the team or anything for next year. So I need to see what all comes out. And we've got the calendar for the comps next year, but I'm still more interested in waiting for the IFSC to release a sort of vague idea of the format for Paris for the combines, that I know what to sort of train and like how to, whether I'm, I suppose, psyched to train it if it is even the same sort of thing as what we're used to now. So yeah, I need to wait for all that to come through.
What do you think, like through the selection process for Tokyo, you got really close, like what did you learn in that process that you might take away towards Paris? I know the format's different. I assume you'd be going for boulder and lead rather than speed on its own, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'd need a lot of work to go for speed on its own, I reckon. I'm only like 2 seconds off the times now. Yeah, that's
speed though.
Yeah. Takeaways. I'm not actually too sure. I've not really thought, but I wouldn't have like a answer straight away for that. I'd need to give that a think. Just yeah. Suppose it just depends what they actually say the selection is going to be for the Olympics as well, and because like takeaway from Tokyo was that I trained for completely the wrong thing. Like I trained for the Olympic selection event rather than the World Champs. And actually more people got selected at the World Champs than the Olympic event. So it would have made more sense to have gone the other way around. But it's just little things like that, which suppose if we get, would be like more useful to look forward to Paris, if you know what I mean.
Nice. Well, good luck with everything. Hope you get at least some more good conditions before the weather goes truly awful at the end of the year. So yeah, enjoy your time in Edinburgh and hope you get back down to the tour soon to tick it all off. Let us know when you've completed absolutely everything.
I think that could
be Thanks, Will.
Thanks for having me.